Crypto God here, and today I'm f***ing excited. Well, I mean, I'm excited every f***ing day, but today I'm excited, god damn it. We got Piggy to market here talking about Piggybank token. That's right, the nightmare of centralized banking. God, can I just use words for a damn day of my life? Centralized banking. I mean, honestly, I am the nightmare of any f***ing centralized bakery, but you guys are tearing the ass of the banks. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Hey, what's going on, man? Good to be on today.
Absolutely. Man, I really f***ing appreciate you being here. We had a little bit of a talk beforehand about the exciting things in your guys' future because, like, honestly, I'm impressed. I couldn't be any more enthusiastic about this project. And I mean, I got a lot of enthusiasm to go around, baby. But this here, I'm seeing some stuff here I've not seen anywhere else before. And that's because the piggy bank is in the house. The concept of a piggy bank, correct me if I'm wrong, is to store up for your future.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Generational wealth, man. That's the goal. Everybody involved. Doesn't matter how small your investment is. If you hold, you're going to retire easy.
Now, everybody, there's a lot of tokens and coins and hazards say that shit, right? So what separates the piggy bank from the rest of the herd?
100% security.
100% security.
Yep. So you see a lot of tokens out there. I'm not going to name any names, but there's a huge viral cryptocurrency out there that launched back in March. And, we paid very, very close attention to the things that they were doing, paid close attention to their follies, paid close attention to their community engagement. And we said, you know what, we can do it better. And that's exactly what we did. So off the top of the list, that first wallet that you will see on BSC scan is a dead wallet. It is so dead, it says dead at the end. That was a huge source of confusion for other tokens and other projects, and they lost their user base based off of information that was not readily provided by the developers. So day one of the token, we have it set up to where that burn wallet is labeled dead, no longer to be accessed. Nobody can touch it. It is renounced wallet. Second thing that we did is
renounced wallet.
Yep.
Ooh.
So they do not have access to it. We do not have access to it. We have auto-locking liquidity. There's a lot of projects out there that don't have auto-locking liquidity. And what does that mean for holders? Well, that means that they have to wait on the developers to go in and manually lock the liquidity. Well, that doesn't sound very safe to me. I've seen a lot of other projects go on out there. I don't know, Refinable comes to mind. Shout out to the guys that supported that project.
Oh,
that was a rug pull for sure.
Poor Mr. Beast. Poor Mr. Beast, man. Like, Mr. Beast was all on board for Refinable, and then he got butt f***ed 2 way to Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah, man. And unfortunately, the crypto world, the DeFi world took notice. And there are many people out there with very, very large wallets that will not touch a single project that has his name on it. Huge PR mistake getting involved with people that you cannot trust. You have to have an audit done of your token or in progress prior to launch, which is why we had a Solidity audit done within the first week of launching Piggybank token to ensure that our investors can rest easy knowing that they are safe and their money is solidified in the blockchain. Whew. There's nothing that we can do to remove that from the blockchain. Whew. That liquidity is gone. We don't have it. We can't touch it. We don't see it. It's done automatically. pancakeswap's got us taken care of on that.
So
another thing that
you got this auto lock, right?
Yep.
And it sounds like an auto burn as well.
Yes, we do.
So how much are you locking? How much are you burning?
All right. So we have a 5% that is automatically locked to the liquidity and 10%. And I say that again, 10% redistribution of funds of every transaction to the holders of this token. There is not a single token out there right now to date that is beating us on making sure that the money gets put into the pockets that invested and believed in us from the day one.
10%? What the f***? That's a lot, bro.
Hey, man, we believe in our community, we believe in our holders, and we believe in changing the world. We are centralized banking's worst nightmare, and I don't mean that lightly. We have the largest, highest yield ROI, APY that you could ever possibly conceive in today's market. And that is through traditional and non-traditional investment methods like DeFi. You're not going to make that on stonks. You're not going to make that on CDs. You're not going to make that in mutual funds. You're only going to make that here with us. 10% back to your pocket on every single transaction on the blockchain.
Sounds rather SAFU, my friend.
That's what we do. Not only do we do that, we don't own the contract anymore. It was sent to the burn address on day one. We cannot change any of the code. We cannot access any of the code. We cannot do anything to change the safety and security of this project since day one.
Wow. Now, you know what SAFU actually stands for, right?
Go ahead.
Safe as
Yeah.
Sounds like
That's
Piggy.
what we're talking about.
Piggy is safe as yo. Sounds SAFU as all hell, motherfucker. Like, woo! I mean, this is big. Like, legitimately, because you decided, like, you know what? There were a lot of people out there saying, well, we're safe, and they're saying it and saying it. Now, these are all verifiable facts, right?
Yep.
So what we're going to do for the people at home, because, you know, do your own research, right? I don't believe in doing your own research. I believe doing your own research, right? Like actual eyes on, hands on, going through it with a fine tooth comb and finding the facts. That's why you do your own research, right? So what we'll do is you're going to provide a link that's going to be in the description below for the people to do their own research.
Everything that you need to know about our project and what we stand for is at piggybanktoken.com. I repeat that again. That's in the
description below, folks.
Piggybanktoken.com. We've got our light paper, links to BSC scan. We have links where you can view the code. We have everything that you need to know about the safety of your investment.
Woo. Man, we're only like 7 minutes, 8 minutes in, and I'm already like half mass, full mass. Well, I was half mass when I was talking to you. Now I'm like, now there's a full like camping trip going on down there, bro. Like, oh, like here's the man. It's not every day I get to talk to a guy. I mean, I talk to a lot of developers, right? I talk to a lot of developers. My job is you guys pay me for an college education in crypto. You know what I mean? Like, because when I started this thing, I wasn't really fully like educated. Here's the thing. If you want to become good at something, you make it your job, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, about, a few weeks in, and I'm like, man, I'm really actually educated now a little bit. Because I'm talking to these guys that they've been playing around with crypto for years. They're talking to me now, like from my personal life. They're like, damn, bro, you know a lot. Well, I'm talking to the guys that make the shit on a daily basis. And that's the thing. I'm talking to these new developers, right? And they don't do a lot of the shit that you've done. They may have done one or two of the things. You'll hear about a renounced contract, of course, right? Redistribution. Of course, that's a really popular thing that's coming out because people want the security.
Tokenomics is a big buzzword.
Yeah.
We all know the token that started at the beginning of March that became an international sensation.
Right.
But, man, I'm here to tell you. Look at the stats.
Don't believe the hype. Look at the stats.
Look at the stats.
Now, another thing that I like to see people to look at, right, is what is the token actually doing to spread their reach, number one, right? Like, what are they doing marketing-wise, right? Because these developers and these people, they're making money, right? So what are they doing to invest back into the community? What are they doing to look after their product, look after their company, right? If you don't see a company doing advertisements or events or giveaways and stuff like that, it's a little bit of a cause for concern because you'll see that with these tokens where they're like, oh, we're safe, or yeah, we do this and we do that. And then you don't see any action of them moving on anything. Like, have you noticed that yourself?
Yeah, I have. I've seen a lot of projects hype up, these huge announcements that they're going to have, and then they've got some guy come on to talk about how it can be impactful in their community, but we can't even find any information on this guy. It's really, really unfortunate that we have projects out there that rely solely on hype. And I'll said it once and I'll say it again. Look at the stats. DYOR. Do your own research. There is not a safer product out there. There is not a safer and more lucrative investment opportunity on the market in current day than Piggybank token.
You know what? And from the sounds of it, right? Like, because now I need to do my research on you guys even further because I like to go in a little blind into these interviews. You know why?
Like to be surprised and have it organic?
Yeah, that's the number one. And also, what are my listeners doing when they come into it?
Coming in blind.
They're coming in blind. So I kind of feel like it's a disservice to my listener for me to be way more educated than them at the very beginning, because like even if I did all the research, they're going to have questions that I would ask because I didn't know. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's why I put the links in the bottom, because the burden of proof is on you guys and the burden of doing your own research is on the listener. I am providing an introduction and getting to know the people behind the projects, because here's the thing, right? Their roadmap can look pretty, right? They can have all these buzzwords, right? But if they come onto the interview and they suck, how do you think that's going to translate to the listener?
Pretty shitty.
And, I'm not going to say point anyone out, but I've had a couple people that I did interviews with that they were pretty shitty. It was almost like they were unprepared to talk with me.
Hopefully, that's not the case today.
Well, I can tell you already, you've outperformed some of the others. Like, already. And product-wise...
That's what she said.
Hey, it's so f***ing true, bro. I mean, I've been single for 7 years, but I've not been alone. I work too much
Pamela Henderson coming in handy.
I work way too much. I'm married to my work, and that's the thing. When you're really passionate about a project, it consumes a lot of time. So how much time is the team pouring into Piggybank right now, on average, would you say, a day, if you had to put a number on it?
Sorry about that. Just trying to unmute. I've got kids in the background, guys, so just to let you guys know, I'm a real person. I'm a family man. I've got a home office, as a lot of people do since the COVID pandemic.
Ooh.
So I'm just I'm hanging out in my office area, and the kids just got out of school for summer, so I apologize if you're hearing some of that in the background, but I'll try to keep it to a dull roar for sure. Daddy first, husband always, and that's my motto. So,
right. And, I got a very similar motto. I got a kid, poor thing, have to deal with me. Like, hey, you're adopted. She's like, I'm not adopted, Dad. Prove it. And she's like, I hate you. It's like she'll say stuff sometimes, like she'll want to, because she's still in that age where she still wants to hold her dad's hand, and she's like, mine. I'm like, God damn, it's like you're my kid or something. She's like, I am.
Gotta love them.
It's funny.
Love them.
Well, here's the thing about children, right? If you don't raise them to think for themselves and to be able to respond to outrageous things at an early age, they're not going to be critical thinkers when they get older.
Oh, 100%, man.
And so I'm constantly throwing stuff at my kid, not lying to her, but just making her figure it out. Where, like, I told her once, last year I was made of bananas for an entire year. She's like, what? Like, yeah, my whole body was bananas. My feet was bananas. You've played Mario Kart, right? She's like, yeah. Well, banana peels are destroyers of worlds. And I was falling apart at the seams because that's what bananas do. They peel. And I was slipping all over the place because my feet was bananas and it was crazy. And she was like, Dad, there's no way you were bananas. Like, that's bananas, ain't it? And she's like, shut up, Dad.
Sounds about right.
But that's the thing, right?
I have a saying in my house, is that if you don't roast your kids, they grow up soft.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, that's my kid, man. She wanted to get her ears pierced, and she was really nervous about it. And she's like, Dad, is it going to hurt? I'm like, yeah, it's going to hurt. She's like, what? She was looking for comfort, right? And I said, honey, pain is a part of life. And that stuck with her so strong when she burnt her hand with a hot glue gun when she was like 8. She called me from her mom's house, and she was like, Dad, I burnt myself with a hot glue gun today. I didn't even make a sound. I'm like, God, kid, you're vicious. But
Bobby, I'm so proud of you.
I know.
If you weren't my son, I'd hug you.
She's a tough kid, right? But that's the thing about developing critical thinking. As we are adults in the market, you can list my job, right? As you know, I bring people on here and I show my enthusiasm, right? I respond to things that are presented. Now, because that's my job, right? I'm not selling anybody anything. I mean, sometimes I'll say, oh, this seems like a really great project, and I'm saying that because that's genuine from me, right? I'm not trying to sell anything unless someone pays me an absorbent amount of money. Then I'm going to start selling the shit out of it. You know what I mean? But here's the thing, people. If you didn't develop critical thinking, like I'm working with my daughter at a young age, you will fall victim to things like refinable and things like that nature that are rug pulls because you don't do your research.
Yep.
Like, yeah, not a financial advisor by any means. I am an enthusiastic, entertaining personality that's educated. That's as far as the show goes. Now, what's really great is we bring new products to the consumer every day, right? That's what makes this podcast really special in the crypto sphere, because there's not people bringing new developers to the people every day, right? Like, there's people that listen specifically so they can find people like you. They do research and then they become holders in the coin. That's what my audience does. But
that's what we're all about. I get a lot of people that come to me, oh, we can pump you up, and then I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna waste my community's time on a pump and dump scheme where you guys are gonna come in, pump us up, get us all to invest more money, and then turn around a couple weeks later and just dump it all on us.
Yeah,
that's not something like that.
Yeah,
that's not something that we're interested in. I'm not going to market that way. I do not engage in those tactics. It's not something that I am willing to do. And there's a lot of people in our community that want that mentality, but
that's
I'm not going to do that.
Sustainable, bro.
That's not sustainable, and it's not healthy long term.
And also,
project.
That's not your f***ing brand.
Nope,
it's not your f***ing brand. Like, nope. That's the thing. That's not your brand. It goes against the brand. Now, they're like,
I'm all for the guys that get dumped millions of dollars into projects if they intend to stay. And I know many people that have. I know I know a large majority of our top holders, and they're not developers.
Right.
They're not. They're community members. They're guys that I met with last week that were like, hey, we just want to talk to you about the project. We spend 2 hours on the phone, and 5 minutes later, we have multiple 55 BNB buys, 27 BNB buys. The
That's
devs
awesome.
may not have a face, but this project has a face.
Right. And what's the face?
I'm here.
You're here.
Piggy to market.
So you're the face.
I'm the face.
There we go.
I'm the face.
Well, there's also a lot to be said. Like, there's a lot of back and forth about doxing developers, right?
Yep.
And part of the problem with doxing sometimes is it opens you up to attack.
Yep. I have some very good friends of mine that are developers of another project, and within the first few days of the project, got death threats. Right. Because by no fault of their own, somebody that bought an exorbitant amount during a pre-sale started selling. And it's like, man, like, I'm really sorry that's happening to you,
Now, people
and they're
do
worried
sell.
about their families.
People do sell. That's the nature of the business, right?
Yeah.
But
this is an investment. You're going to sell. Everybody's got a number.
Right. And that's the thing, though. A smart trader knows how to sell without tanking a coin. Like, I was talking to a guy yesterday because, I'm on the phone with these people outside of interviews, right? And one of the guys that I've done business with for a little while now, he was teaching me about how to, when it gets that accumulation point and starts skyrocketing, right? About how you could sell off 25 grand and you come back about 30 minutes later and you'll have 25 grand back in the coin.
It's all about that net though. I've got a lot of very, very smart investors that I work with that I've had the pleasure of entertaining, whether it be through a format such as this or actually a couple guys in person.
If I know they're not developers, but I have a separate segment on this podcast that's focused on success and the mindset of success and business tactics and things of that nature. It's something that I'm getting off the ground. You let them know. They're free to come onto the podcast just to talk about investment strategies, about their lives, what it took for them to get where they're at. Because I don't want to just educate people on crypto. Yes, that is a primary goal. But I also want to teach people how to become successful. So you let them know, hey, get a hold of me. And if you're listening at home and you want to come on to the Success Talks segment, I'd love to have you as a guest. So, a lot of exciting things. I mean, as I said, if people want to come on, you can talk to your people. If they want to come onto the podcast, get a little airtime, I would love to have them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something that I can bring up to that specific group of individuals. And if they're interested in doing it. I mean, these guys are some of the nicest, most philanthropic people that I've ever had the pleasure of encountering, and it's so crazy to know that some of them just a few short months ago were working minimum wage. The crypto altcoin season took hold of them, and they got in on some projects at the right time. And instead of getting greedy and developing this habit of just spend, they got into the habit of hold, and
Right.
spread the wealth among others that are less fortunate.
And that's a big thing that I'm about too. Like
Yeah.
my buddy Chris from Save the World Token, if that's okay for me to mention them, they've donated like $2 million to charity in the past like 3 weeks.
Yep, and that's something that, a lot of tokens, that's another thing that we really paid attention to. A lot of tokens that are coming out in the space now, they have this this quote unquote inherent charitable donations deal. A lot of charities, they're hopping on the wave. They're getting to the point where they're accepting crypto, but there's no inherency in the charity. And unfortunately, some of those tokens, and I'm not talking about Save the World specifically, but some of those tokens, it's one of those pump up schemes. We've seen several of them come and go off the market in the last 90 days.
Yeah, one of the smart things that Save did, by the way, is they're teaching people how that they're donating to turn it into cash. So it's like if you're going to do like a charity, right? You got to have some aftercare for sake. You got to teach the people how to turn it into the money that you're giving it to in order to make that happen. You know what I mean?
So they can actually use it for what it's meant to be for, which is to help people.
Yeah.
That's what the DeFi community is about. That's what we truly believe. We fancy ourselves a little bit of the bad boys of crypto. We fancy ourselves centralized banking's worst nightmare. But behind all that, we have a deep-seated need to educate our community and ensure that people understand that all of DeFi is here to help better the world. There are countries across the world that don't have any kind of system in which they can exchange currencies or purchase goods or have any kind of real centralized banking experience for them at all.
Or if they have a centralized banking system, they can only move like $2,000 at a time.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, fiat or federally backed currency of any kind is the largest rug pull of them all, man.
Well, it takes you 800 years in America to double your money in the bank. Mm-hmm. Like, what the is that?
Yep.
And then between that and overdraft fees and things of that nature, like that's the thing, man. Overdraft fees is the biggest reason why families are in debt because they're letting people spend money they don't have.
No, I completely agree. I unfortunately, at a different time, we talked a little bit earlier. I'm a veteran. I was medically retired from the United States Army, and man, it was one of those situations where I had all the credit in the world, but no income all of a sudden. And unfortunately, it took a while for the VA stuff to kick in and for everything else to kind of work itself out. And I fell victim to the same thing. I had an exorbitant amount of overdraft fees at every single banking institution that I'd ever been associated with. Ran up credit like crazy and ended up having to file bankruptcy.
That's rough.
I've been in crypto now for 7, 8, 9 years, something of that nature. As far as altcoins, only very recently, very, very recently. And, we saw the developer saw a need in the space for somebody that is going to stick it to the man and take back what's rightfully ours. We, the people of the world, run this.
Right.
Not the top 1% of the 1%. We want to give power back to the people through DeFi. And we believe in all projects that are trying to do that. And we want to educate people that there is an opportunity for them not to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. There is an opportunity for them to equalize themselves among financial giants, an opportunity to change the world.
That's the thing. Right? That's the thing right there. I was talking to my Uber driver last night because any person I talk to where they're working a shit job, I tried to get them turned on to invest into something because this whole idea that we're not educating people about investment, right? Most people, when they learn about investment, it's too late. They're f***ing up their lives, man. They're f***ing up their lives. Because here's the thing, if you learn how money works, then you realize, I'm doing myself a great disservice by not investing.
Especially into something as amazing as cryptocurrency.
Right. And she was talking about how her husband aped in on a project with their life savings. And they lost it. And it could have been very well refinable, and because, he was like, oh, it was supposed to be safe. And it wasn't safe. You know what I mean? It wasn't safe at all. And that's the problem. When people ape in, and that's the thing, when something's safe or it appears safe, it don't matter how safe it is because the market's based on other factors outside of the market.
Yep.
The market's based on external factors.
You have countries literally controlling part of the cryptocurrency market right now. And
it's f***ing dangerous.
It really, really is. I mean, there's decentralized finance. We don't play victim to a lot of those things. That's what people, I think, need to understand as well, is that people kind of get scared when the big market of crypto goes down. And so then they stop investing in DeFi for a little while too. And all of a sudden, we look at the market as a whole that's going down. We're not necessarily tied to Bitcoin and Ethereum and things of that nature. While we are on their blockchains, we have our own ecosystem that we can support. DeFi does not follow any rules. DeFi does not give a about what your financial advisor thinks. DeFi does not give a about what you were taught in economics class. This is something bigger than dollars and cents. This is bigger than adding and subtracting. Said it once, say it again. DeFi is life-changing. DeFi has the power to right great injustices across the world. And, I may sound like a crazy hippie with that anecdote, but at the end of the day, man, this is something that is very powerful. And I believe that a lot more people are going to join this movement, and we will inherit the world once again.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing. With all the craziness that's going on, with all the craziness and all the uncertainty, especially with COVID, bro, especially with COVID, like it is a crazy rat race to make sure that we can make something out of this life in a safe way. And if you're not vaccinated, because there's a lot of people that are like, ooh, vaccines, right? You got to find a way to make money from home. And also, this as well, right? Like, despite how good your credit was, despite everything that happened, despite making good money in the military, you were not financially prepared for when life happened. And
not by any means. Not by any means.
Because roughly, right, Grant Cardone says to really be prepared for life when it happens, you need to make about $360,000 a year. And you got to save about 40% of it.
What if I told you people that YOLO'd in a whole bunch of money at the beginning of our project turned a minimum wage salary into multimillionaires in less than 48 hours?
I believe it. And that's the power of getting in early on these coins.
And we're still super early. We're 14 days old.
Right.
14 days old. We
Right.
entered the market in one of the largest cryptocurrency crashes since 2017, and we still accumulated.
Right. Well, you get a crash. You get a crash about every 4 years.
Yep.
That's the science behind it. Like people are acting like this is a new thing.
This is just an opportunity for more people to get in. That's what this is.
I get excited when I see the market go down because I know I'm going to recover. Number one. Yeah, I lost some money in the meantime, right? Like I didn't have a whole bunch because I liquidate for payroll and I liquidate for bills and things of that nature. I only had about 40 grand sitting in B&B at the time. And then I had other money sitting in other places, but I lost like 18 grand in B&B. That's a lot of money for a regular person. But here's the thing. I still had enough to pay rent, pay all my bills, and also pay my staff. Like I lost 18 grand and I was okay. And why is that? Because when you're handling your money properly, no matter what happens with the market, you're going to be okay. You gotta be intelligent. And that's where safe coins and things like that really come into play.
Yeah, and stability comes into play too. Considering that if you look at, the first page of BSC scan, most of the people that are on that first page are the people that are in the Discord right now. They're people that are active on the Telegram. They're not people that are hiding themselves.
Right. I'm looking at your chart right now, by the way. Looking at right now. And really, you're starting to get kind of what's looking like a rounded bottom on your chart.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. We had a cup and handle form overnight last night. That was pretty good. That all of a sudden took off.
If I would have bought this morning at 4 a.m., I'd have so much money.
Yeah.
I would have so much money Because it looks like since 4 a.m., my raw, is that a 10x? I'm not good with numbers. I'm kind of dyslexic, right?
No, it's not a 10x, but it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a significant value change.
We
you know
got
what
a
I mean?
we got a 3x
A
that came
3x.
in.
So if I would have put in $3,000, I would have had 9 right now, which is exceptional, man. Which is exceptional. Like, and that's the thing, right? Like, there were moments earlier in the day, right? Like, you saw a really great peak at, it looked like 1258. That 1258 mark really is kicking some ass. But that doesn't look like that's going to be a rare thing for you guys.
No, I mean, if you look at historically, so we're still, if you take the simple slope formula from start to end of the graph, from first candle to last candle on our graph on Block Finance, we're still in a positive trend in one of the largest cryptocurrency down markets since 2017. That's not something that happens. Between the 19th and 20th of this month, we saw a 622% increase in our price.
Wow.
On March 19th and 20th.
Wow.
On the 21st, BSC fell to below $300.
Yeah.
BNB fell below $300 for the first time since early March. We're looking at like March 10th prices on May 21st of this year for BNB, and we still were sitting at a 622% increase. And we're on their smart chain. That we're on their blockchain.
Right.
So just to show you how independent price variables can be from big name cryptocurrencies like BNB, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, all of these different tokens or all of these different coins that are out there, tokens don't follow the same rule. We fancy ourselves the bad boys of crypto. DeFi as a whole, we're man.
Absolutely. Now, so how much is your actual transaction tax?
There's a 15% tax on all trades performed with Piggybank token.
Okay.
As we talked about earlier, we cranked up those redistributions. So 10% of that tax, and I say again 10%, which is twice any other project out there, gets redistributed to holders as an automatic function of the smart contract, which once again has been renounced, so we can't change that. And then 5% goes into a liquidity pool. And those liquidity pools are automatically locked as a function of the smart contract.
That's excellent, man.
Yep.
That is excellent.
We figured out an issue, and we have exploited an issue with pancakeswap's UI.
Really?
One of the things that a lot of people noticed when they were doing transactions were that they were having to slide that slippage kind of all over the place. It seemed like day to day. And if you follow the money, you follow those transaction hashes on BSC scan, you'll notice that on top of the tax that the smart contract was charging, and this isn't on our token, this is on other tokens, on top of that like 15% or 10% or whatever those transactions, I think there's one that's 12. So on top of that, what you saw was about 1.17% of the transaction was going to pancakeswap. So what we found is that through a very simple method that's posted on our Twitter, you can run pancakeswap slippage at 0.16%. The tax will still be executed as part of the smart contract. It will still have the same exact function, 10% to holders, 5% to liquidity. But what we did effectively was we cut out paying your hard-earned money to pancakeswap.
That's excellent. So slippage, basically, for the people at home, make sure we have a proper understanding. Slippage is the tax that the exchange takes.
It accounts for volatility in the cryptocurrency market because most transactions are processed within approximately 20 minutes, depending on how many confirmations has to be attained for the transaction to take place. So it could, the price per unit could change in that 20 minutes. So it allows a little bit of wiggle room. And then also what it allows is for, like you said before, it's something that we call gas fees. Every transaction on every blockchain has some sort of gas fee. There is a fee for transferring it, sending it from one wallet to an exchange to a wallet, selling, buying, anything that you have, you're going to have some sort of gas fee associated with the processing of that transaction. While as minuscule as it is, we wanted to make sure that our holders got to benefit from the lowest possible fees of any other token on the market. Period. End of discussion. We're doing fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, people at first might think 15% tax is high, right? But when you consider what it's doing for the community, when you're considering how much is going into the liquidity pool, it's really not.
We're doubling the liquidity of most other tokens on the market. We're doubling what we're putting into the liquidity pool, and we're doubling what we put into the pockets of our holders. So it's one of those deals where, okay, you might have to pay 3% more on the tax on the front end, but on that back end, you are stabilizing your token that you invested in. You are putting liquidity into the market, auto-locking liquidity that the developers can't touch, therefore stabilizing the price of your token and stabilizing the project as a whole. And then on top of that, those tasty double reflections, I call it 2x tokenomics, because you're getting 2 times the tokenomics redistributions of any other token on the market today.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful right there. I think that is the note we need to end on, because folks, like we've had other people talk about a tax rate of, we had this one person on, he said they had a 13% tax rate, right? And then they had like only 7.5% went back into redistribution, right?
Yep.
10% redistribution is huge. 5% into liquidity is huge. This here, folks, to me, right, the 50% by itself seems like a harpoon for whales in the first place. Because if they want to pump a bunch of money into it, they lose 15%. Then we want to drag a bunch of money out, that's 15% too. It's a harpoon, motherfucker. Anti-whaling strategy built into the tax.
It's all for you guys. 100% for you guys. 100% for the future that we all can have together.
So, folks, do your own research. Check them out. Their website is extremely well built. I'm looking at it right now. It's beautiful. And as you just scroll down, man, on this website, the roadmap appears. It's all extremely accessible. It all explains it very, very well. I think this is a super user-friendly website that will allow you to do it. It has the light paper on there, shows you how to buy. All their socials are in the top right corner in a very easily to see and accessible way. Guys, just go to this website and you got yourself a show to go to. You know what I mean? Now, you got a big project coming up. I want to talk about that real fast before we end. What is this big thing, this big event that you're doing?
So, the Princeton Club of New York. Go ahead and Google those guys. They're made up of some of the wealthiest men and women in the United States. They are a society of sorts. And every single one of those wonderful, wonderful human beings has some beautiful exotic car that they would like to share with us. So on June 26th and 27th, we have an event in New York City. On the 27th, somewhere between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., somewhere in between there, we have a permit to shut down Times Square. Shut it the down. We're going to have Lambos, Bugattis, Bentleys covered in Piggybank token. We're going to be out handing out some swag bags. You guys are going to be able to take some pictures and videos, load up on your TikToks. Perfect opportunity for you guys to come out, support the token, and see what we're all about. We're not talking about living life in excess. We're talking about giving people the opportunity to live the lives they've always dreamed of. We're going to give you a taste of that in New York City next month on the 26th and 27th.
There you go. There you go. Really strong, I would almost dare say, bullish strategies without the wanting to sell off, right? Just this really strong platform, this really strong security for your people in growth.
100%.
Aggressive growth. I like it a lot. I am excited for the future of the piggy terminators of the bank.
Let's go.
Let's go, motherfucker.
Let's fucking go, banks.
Yeah, big banks, man. Let's fight club this shit.
Hey, we're not supposed to talk about that.
Hey. You don't play by the rules. Why should I?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Let's go. You know what I mean? So, folks, you got to like, comment, and subscribe to share to all of your friends and ring the bell so you can keep getting more of this shit when it counts. Because here's the thing. If you're not in the know, you're going to miss out on opportunities to get on the ground floor of these brand new cryptos that will make you some serious bank. But the last piece of instruction for you, your ultimate call to action, folks, is hodl that